And joining us tonight is Victor Davis Hanson. He is Senior Fellow in Residence in Classics and Military History at the Hoover Institution and one of the most brilliant scholars and authors around. And he has written his most recent book, The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won, and a brilliant, brilliant book it is. Victor, it's great to have you with us, and I want to start, if I may, by turning first to a government that seems to be seized under the control of the deep state. And that is when you have Congress imploring the Justice Department and the FBI to permit it to carry out its oversight responsibilities under the Constitution. We seem to be in a very, very dark place as a constitutional republic.
Yeah, I think we are. I think that Robert Mueller is up against an existential dilemma, and that is every time he goes down one road and says this person lied to an FBI agent or this person colluded, and he can't quite prove it, right in front of us, in front of the whole country, we have Hillary Clinton, the Steele dossier collusion, uranium-1 collusion, Cheryl Mills, Huma Abedin not being truthful to FBI investigators, James Comey not telling the truth to Congress, Andrew McCabe not doing it. So it's almost as if we were going to take the logic of the Mueller investigation and apply it across the board without preference, we would have a lot of very important people in Washington facing legal exposure. In fact, we've already had about 11 or 12 people in the DOJ and the FBI who have been reassigned, retired, or fired. Nothing to do, Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with it. They were trying to do something to Donald Trump. And so I think it's sort of, we have uncovered a rock and we don't know what to do because the implications are so enormous and the consequences.
And the congressional leadership, we have Devin Nunes, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, Matt Gaetz. We have a number of outstanding congressmen. On the Senate side, we have it seems, utter reticence. There is no leadership, either from McConnell, the majority leader, nor from the individual senators themselves. This is an extraordinary, to me, moment in time in which the Senate seems to be, at best, desultory. It is innervated. It is feckless. And the House is standing up and taking on the greatest accountability as it tries to get to the truth.
Yeah, I think, and more importantly, what started out as a legal matter has now become a political matter, and there's a time frame, and it's the midterm election. So the longer that Mueller can draw it out without accountability, the more he can affect the election, which is ironic because he's supposed to be investigating people for not doing that. And so I think what's going to happen is we're going to have to, at this late date, we're going to have Mr. Horowitz and Huber get these 400 investigators and the Inspector General and move. But we've wasted a year, and now this legal process has become a political matter, and it's very ironic because that's what Mr. Mueller said he was investigating.
Ironic.
The effect on politics. Yeah, it is, and it's part. I think, Lou, it's part of a whole situation where we look at North Korea, the border with Mexico. Right. We look at China and trade, and it's like a Gordian knot. And for 30 years, it's been so complex. We've had all these sober and judicious people who say, you know, we have to do this, we have to have this temperament, this protocol. And then Trump comes in from the outside and sort of like Alexander the Great, he just takes a sword and cuts it in two and says, problem solved. And they're not used to that. But I think he's got enormous support, and it's growing for some type of decisive action on immigration, trade, the Mueller investigation, and we'll see what happens.
And in all truth, he seems to be the only one in Washington who is oriented towards solving problems, fixing problems, rather than handing them off, avoiding them, dissembling about the nature of them or the time frame in which he wants to deal with them. Whether it's foreign policy, whether, as you suggest, with North Korea. Soon, later this month, he'll meet with Prime Minister Abe of Japan. We're watching the world change in the course of about a year and less than a year and a half, whether it's foreign policy, domestic policy, or immigration policy. But it seems like a lot of work has gone into making this overly complex and hiding it all, obfuscating all of the solutions by previous administrations obfuscating them beneath all sorts of faux complexities and protocols that amount to nothing at all.
Yeah, you could really see that in North Korea. We had the so-called agreed-on framework, the six-party talks, strategic patience, and they all led nowhere but to a nuclear North Korea with missiles pointed at us. And Trump comes in and sort of acts like he may be a little bit unhinged, scares the Chinese, scares the North Koreans, raises a specter that maybe Japan might go nuclear, or even South Korea, and all of a sudden everything changes, and the people that were invested in failure are outraged and shocked, and yet take away Trump's name and they would say, wow, this has been pretty effective so far.
Absolutely.
And so
we don't want to
yeah.
take away his name, and we don't want him to in any way to ever consider retirement from the office he holds. Victor Davis Hanson, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Great to see you, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.